Now, Jay, do you know why I've called you into my office today?
Oh, I've been working real hard, I swear.
No, I understand. No, don't worry about that. Just sit down for a minute. We'll talk about it.
There aren't any chairs in here.
Oh, well, let's talk about this then. So, first of all, we need to order chairs. Second of all, I've noticed Let's Plays have been up.
Oh.
But Wowits have been very down.
I'm sorry. I'll work on it.
Well, thankfully, I've brought you in here so we can do one on a game called Fortune-499.
Oh, that sounds productive.
Yeah, so I thought, we can just sit down, we can talk about this a little bit as we go through this game about corporate life.
Oh, well, you're the boss.
So, Fortune-499 is made by one half of the team who created Beglitched, which you may remember from last year when we did the video on that.
Was it or glitched?
This is Glitched.
Oh, wow.
And while that game was definitely a lot of... it was pretty dense, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order to make sure that this goes a little bit smoother, I've started at the beginning of the game here. Though, systematically, this is a much simpler game than Beglitched was.
I mean, it's about business, the most simple thing in the world.
That's right. We're working in magical resources, and it seems like Derek here, who is our boss, is thinking of firing us because
we look too much like Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. It's just a lawsuit waiting to happen.
We got this company where it is today thanks to our abilities because we are a practitioner, we are a witch who uses prediction magic. And, they just don't see the need for that anymore. They don't see the point for that position now that they've already, made their money.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek, because he's a coward, won't tell us directly, but he wants to fire us. Well, he doesn't want to fire us, but he's being asked to fire us.
I really like that coward is like the word in red for this conversation.
Yeah, I like... The writing is pretty good, and I really like the way that it emphasizes certain words.
Oh,
but
no.
The monster boss is here.
Oh no, he's gonna put in a ping pong table for the employees.
So, this game, like I said, pretty simple. So there's a lot of sort of this. There's a lot of story going on. But I think it's all pretty well done. Like, just very, clever writing.
Right. I like the combination of witchcraft and modern business. It's a clever mix, I think.
Yeah. And I really like the very simplistic portraits that all the characters are given.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute. But so, when it comes to things that aren't the story, we have battles. And each of the battles is represented as a rock, paper, scissors game.
Oh, okay. So this is Alex Kidd 5.
And so, with this, as you can see, we have a deck of cards in the bottom left corner, and we can flip those over, and it sort of changes the probability of what the opponent's going to use.
Okay, so it made him more likely to choose paper.
Right, and so each card sort of changes the probability. It's not 100%, sometimes it fails, and you still get hit, but for the most part, you are benefited for choosing against the cards that you pull.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. And so I really like the system, right? It makes sort of the RPG sort of gameplay a little more in your favor, but still not perfect. So you still have to be able to play around these sort of different setups. You can't be too risky.
Oh no. This guy's probably really good at rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, but you notice he's kind of weak. He has less HP than the jellies that we were fighting before.
Oh, wow.
And so here we get to sort of like more of the puzzly aspect. It's not just rock, paper, scissors. So now we don't do any damage with our rock, paper, or scissors. This is actually why we're getting fired.
Oh, wow. I always bring a sword to a rock, paper, scissors fight.
Well, it's only shown as a sword. It's not, you don't bring an actual sword. We might get in trouble if we brought that to work. But so we have this offensive magic, and we're gonna just kind of flip through our deck to try to get to some mana. And one thing to note is you can pull 4 cards at a time, but the thing is, if you get like conflicting cards, right? Like here I have a rock and a scissors chance. We run into the issue where like, you know, maybe it was more likely that he was going to do scissors, but now there's sort of like this uncertainty to it.
Right. Now it's almost as if, like, it could be, like, equal, like...
Yeah.
So you could really, like, mess yourself up.
Right, and so it's a risk-reward sort of thing where if you really want to get through your deck fast, you can do that, but it might make it harder for you, ultimately, to be able to not take damage, because if you win the rock, paper, scissors fight, you are confirmed not to take damage. But if you tie or lose, you do take damage.
And it looks like the cards you use are taken away from your budget that you'd win from a fight?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You are given a lot of benefits for using fewer cards. But you also, if you, like, lose a game of rock, paper, scissors, and your probability was good against you winning, then you get karma points, which will also pay out at the end. Sort of like a workers' comp kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. It all makes sense. Business, computers, degrees.
Exactly. You get it. And after a hard day of work, what better than to take the subway home and immediately pass out with our cat?
For such little pixels, that's a really good passing out animation.
Yeah, for sure. Here we can check our emails, you know, like you would do at work.
Right.
Just catching up on the daily grind.
I totally have a work that requires me to check emails.
You check it and it's like, oh, I know you're taking care of our dog right now, but you got all these extra things to do. I've left you with all the toys that he needs for the weekend.
Hey, I'm gonna forward you some dogs that you need to take care of.
You can find them attached to this email. But yeah, here it's sort of like a little bit of world building and kind of letting you know what the levels are going to be going forward. Like we heard that sort of like, oh, in HR, there's a problem going on, so we're going to have to go there. We can also play Beglitched in this game, or we can try, but we're stuck on the game.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
She's just like, I don't understand how this game works. I watched 30 minutes of a video and I'm still pretty confused.
Wow, very relatable. So now we get to just kind of, you know, explore our office and we can check out everyone's motivational posters.
That's a very aspiring motivational poster.
It really is. And so each of the characters pops up on occasion with some sort of benefit, and David here gives us money. He's from accounting.
Oh, wow.
He knows how to budget for our project. Our project is taking care of the monsters who show here, because, as we saw in one of our emails, all of the wizards are out for a meeting at Burning Man. And we're the only one left who can do, like, offensive magic.
So, we're not really a wizard, we're like a magician? We're like...
Well, no, we're a witch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a different thing.
Okay. So, but we mostly work in, predictions, I guess, or like fortune-telling?
Yeah. That's sort of our main focus, but we can use it offensively. in the case here. They don't really describe what the rock, paper, scissors, is once taken out of sort of the context of the video game.
Right, well, it's a metaphor.
Right, so maybe she's just, like, punching them or something, or maybe there is really magic happening.
Inflation!
On the coffee machine,
God. This is one expensive workplace.
It really is.
They're just trying to cut down on water cooler talk, honestly.
Yeah, probably. So, each of the departments is sort of a different level, and as you beat some of them, new ones will unlock. And you basically always start out with the same tools each time, so it has a better chance to sort of, flex the differences in play styles between the dungeons, because they all have different, like, gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
So you always start with the same base tool set, and then they can give you power-ups that better benefit you for those particular challenges that they're putting you through. But yeah, so there you can see the karma point that we got. And so yeah, if we lose a game that we probably should have won, we get an extra $10 for each of those, based on how much damage we take.
What if you win a game that you shouldn't have won?
I haven't had that happen yet.
Oh, okay, you're just not a risk taker, I assume.
Yeah, I'm a coward. Like here, I mock amateur work. I really like the little... This is something that happens in Beglitched, too, where, like, all of the monsters have these, like, little blurbs about them that really try to make them, like, villainous.
I mean, it's working so far.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this one doesn't do anything creative, but he mocks people.
At first I thought it said, "This exchange blows." I was like, wow, harsh.
Well, no, so yeah, so if you tie, you both take damage, but you attack first. So if you win with a tie, you don't end up taking that damage. Which is something good to know. And I decided to pick this first one because it sort of, like, has all of the, like, tools, more or less, that the game will give you throughout its different dungeons, more or less. So here we can, like, pick up new spell books, which for MP, which we can gain through those cards like we saw before, they give us different abilities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and they kind of come to play in different scenarios, where, like, you saw that the rock damage one is good, so if we go against an enemy who's, like, mostly scissors, unlike this guy's the opposite of what we want right now, we could use that to our benefit.
What's, like, the gaping hole thing? Is that more mana? Is that, like, a crystal?
Yeah, that's just a crystal. It's a mana crystal. I was trying to figure out what you meant, and then it's like, oh!
But man, this really is just Alex Kidd with rock, paper, and scissor monsters.
And so, here we have printers, which can print different cards for us. Each printer has sort of, like, a number of uses and very specific types of cards that you can get out of them. Sometimes, like this, where it's just based on mana, you only get one type, but some you get, like, a multitude of choices. Like here, you can pick as many of any of these as you want, but I prefer a more balanced build, you know?
Oh, of course. You're not going for a scissors build.
No, not if I'm gonna go against scissors here.
I mean, how else do you defeat scissors but thinking like a scissors?
I guess you got a point. So there, it was really tricky because I basically ended up with a plus on each of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, it is more of a risk there, but it ended up working out. It is kind of tough because you don't heal HP a lot.
Right.
Like, some cards do that, and some enemies may heal you, but, like, once you've started a floor, you can't go back to another one, so we can't go back to that coffee machine. And if you fail on a floor, you start the entire floor over, which gives you a chance to sort of, like, rethink your strategy, but still leaves you with exactly the same resources as you came in on.
Also, I love this implication that the shredder can only shred 3 more things and then it will die.
Well, he said that he was shredding resumes. He probably put a lot through there. Now, I thought this guy was an egg. He's a rock.
Right, the classic scissors, paper, egg scenario.
Well, the thing is, like, look at his nose. It's very egg.
It does kind of look like an egg.
Anyways, I just wanted to skip through that so you could just zip. Do a little damage, because we have enough mana as is.
Oh, so you can't just reorder your...
You can't just reorder your deck at any time. It sort of like shuffles each time that you go through it in a match. And so the filing cabinet will allow you to basically stack the top X number of cards for your deck. Like here, we're going to be able to stack 3, and we're guaranteed to get these certain ones. So like, I want to make sure that they do one particular type of move and get mana. And it sort of like lets me go through the deck faster while not having to worry about so much random chance.
Now let's say you just wanted to you only wanted to stack scissors. Then couldn't you always just choose rock? And be able to win every time?
I mean, most times. Again, there's still like a sort of element of randomness, but yeah, basically.
Seems like that might be... it might be best to just do a Kaiji Ultimate Survivor strategy for this.
Right. You bleed on your own cards to make new ones. Yes, that enemy nicely gives us full HP, which gives us just enough time to reach the boss of this particular dungeon. Very short, just because it's like the starter one.
Right.
But here we can see a bunch of other different kind of like weird types of cards. Like there's like the fact that some of these cards are just in your deck, like the max +3, which gives us 3 HP, is something that works regardless of whether or not we draw it. But if we draw it, it's also a dead card.
Oh, okay. So these are one-time use.
Well, not one-time use, but sort of like they're in your deck, and they'll stay in your deck, but each time you draw it, you might as well have drawn nothing, because they don't actually do anything for you outside of the inherent +3 to your HP.
Okay. They just don't, affect your enemy, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
And here we can put cards in the microwave to power them up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I see why they say that your magic's as effective as the microwave, because that microwave can only work 3 times.
Right. So here, we could shred cards. I want to get rid of my cheaper mana one, just because I want to make sure that I'm always drawing the maximum amount, if possible.
Yeah, you're trying to min-max this.
Right. And here, I'm stacking my deck so that I get all of my useless cards out of the way to start. So I don't have to worry about it until the next time that I shuffle my deck. Because here we're against the boss. He's tough and stuff.
Oh man, look at all those human resources behind them. Chirps, we've gotta save them.
We're gonna save him, don't worry. But yeah, so, per turn, for each fortune card that we draw, he's going to reduce our attack damage.
Oh wow. And we only have, we don't have a lot.
Right. But it does reset every turn, which is part of why I got the scissors damage up. Because then I can draw up, I can draw almost up to 4. I can draw up to 3, in fact. And still be able to do damage with scissors if that comes up. Now me, I'm getting bad draws here. But as long as I can, keep ahead of the boss here, I can at least make sure not to take damage.
Wow.
But as you can see, he's very strong. 3 HP, which is why I made sure to grab that.
He rocked you with that karma.
He sure did. Yeah, that's why also I took a healing card, which is a one-time use. There are some one-time use cards that do restoration in the middle of battle, and will burn from your deck, which also frees up space so that you're not drawing it all the time.
Oh, and you can just do, spells for every time that you have mana.
Yeah, you can just spam spells. And there I did to make sure that I killed him, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna hit with rock, so I'll make sure to do damage. And, like, you know, there are a lot of different things that come through this game. It's not just this. Like, in the next dungeon after this, there's sort of like a mechanic where an enemy gives you like a bad card, and you can't take it out of your deck. So every time you draw it, it like does damage to you and makes it so your enemy's going to hit a lot harder that turn. And so it builds these different strategies based around the contingency that you're going to deal with that. And you sort of learn different moves, like being able to hide cards in your sleeves so you can pull them back out and reuse them if you want.
Oh, damn.
So there are a lot of, like, ways that it builds on this particular sort of, like, you know, the formula, so that it still feels kind of fresh, even past sort of the initial interest in the rock, paper, scissors kind of thing.
Okay, so Chorps, where can I get this game? Is it available for the Game Boy Advance? Can I get it for the Wonder Swan?
I know those are your favorite consoles, but no, it's available on Steam and itch.io for $4.99.
Oh, wow.
I believe this was originally a Humble original game that has just recently been released onto like digital store platforms outside of Humble.
Now it's completely unoriginal, so they can't call it a Humble anymore.
Exactly. Now you're just bragging by putting this out on all these different systems. And here we meet sort of a ominous dude. I don't like his pulsating, Jay.
I don't like his use of "you" in the word humor.
That's how you know where he came from.
Hell.
I was gonna say the Foreign Services Department, but alright.
Oh, this is my stop, too.
Oh, well, Jay, I'm glad then you could join me then. So, keep up the good work, and I'll see you in for your progress report next week.